On the 3rd of February this year, I had my final consultation assessment with a psychiatrist, and I was diagnosed with ADHD, specifically the inattentive type. And this video basically is an awareness call to any adult, child, or specifically women of all ages that are listening to me, because it's particularly hard to diagnose in women. So in this video, I'm going to go over how it took me so long to think that there was something wrong. I'm 36. What the steps were to do it, what the symptoms are, and if you resonate with any of these symptoms and you think that you might have some form of ADHD too, then I'm going to tell you how you yourself can go about finding out that diagnosis if you so wish. So I suppose we should start from the beginning, right? I wasn't diagnosed as a kid, and I think that's because I myself never really thought that there was anything wrong. And one of the main reasons, really, is because I have a cousin who is slightly younger than me by like 2 years, and he was diagnosed with ADHD at 5 years old. So quite a long time ago, very early on in his age, he was diagnosed, and I could see what his mum was saying, right? I could see the hyper, I could see he was naughty, I could see he was rude, like I could see what they were saying. So throughout my life, I've always said, well, I can't have that because I haven't got X, Y, and Z. I don't act like him. I know, I've never had anyone with ADHD around me apart from that. So I stupidly just went through life knowing that something wasn't quite right, but never attributing it to ADHD at all. Because I was like, well, I'm not like that, so I don't have it. Roll on to my later life, and I meet somebody who gets diagnosed with high functioning Asperger's, so autism. And I was with this person for a long time, and so I could see the traits that were there. And again, I was like, I don't think that this is me. But I did go for mental health reviews to see, what is it? Do you have autism? Do you have something else? And I remember going for a mental health meeting where they put me forward for a personality disorder assessment. So I went through that, and that came out negative. I didn't have it. So I don't have autism, I don't have personality disorder, and I didn't think that I had ADHD. Again, keyword, I didn't think. So what happened then? Well, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I became friends with a lady online, and she is now one of my best friends. And long story short, she moved from up where she was. I think she was in the Midlands, actually, so I may not say up. So she was in the Midlands. She moved towards my area here, where there were some other friends that she got on with. And it was only once I had met her in real life and she was here and we were, hanging out, that I started to realise there's certain things that she does that I do. And the main point of this is that she has already been diagnosed ADHD. And she told me this. So spending time with her, I started to realise things were very similar to what she does. So I started to ask her, hey, just wondering, hey, do you do this? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, is that because of your ADHD? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. She's like, girl, just go get tested. So she could feel the energy coming off of me. She could probably feel it. Like, she didn't want to say, I've spoken to her after, right, being diagnosed. She didn't want to say it, but she was like, yes. But she didn't want to put that into my head. So she just said, girl, go get tested. And so that started the journey as to what I did. Now, what I did is go to the doctors and literally just say, I think I have ADHD. Can you put me forward for an assessment? They said yes. And what they do is they will forward you over to the NHS ADHD services, where you will be on a waiting list for at least 12 months, most likely longer, for about 18 months or longer. But There is actually another organization which I was put in contact with through someone random. Honestly, it must have been like serendipity, because she put me through to this place called Psychiatry UK, and I will link it in the description, so don't worry. She linked me to this place called Psychiatry UK, and she said it's all like fully legit. They diagnose, they're all, psychiatrists, and they have the means and ways to do this. It's just an offshoot. It's not the actual NHS, so the waiting times are shorter. So I said thank you very much, and I applied for Psychiatry UK. Roll forward, it actually only took 12 months from them receiving my application for them to then say, we've received your application, we're going through it now, and within the next couple of weeks we should have an appointment for you. So I initially had an assessment with a doctor that was a video call, but also there were forms that they sent me, okay? So once I had signed up and had a account with Psychiatry UK, there were these forms, self-assessment ADHD forms, that they wanted you to fill in. And this was going back to your childhood, asking you questions. Like, they were bringing up stuff that I didn't even remember. They really were. So you have to really, really tell them exactly, what you went through. And then there is another form that is sent off to a relative or somebody that has known you since the age of 12 years old. So they can input how you were growing up and any symptoms that may have shown as a child that have been missed throughout your adult life. So once this is done, you will then have a call with the doctor to then go through like a few other little in-depth details about that. They will then go away and come back again in another 2 weeks' time for a follow-up appointment where they will then give you the assessment. And so my follow-up appointment was Monday the 3rd, and that is when it was a 5-minute call, and he just got on it and went, "Hello, Katie, good morning, how are you?" And I was like, "Hello, doctor, don't really know how I am really, but yeah, hello, good morning." And he just went, "Yeah, so yes, we are going to diagnose you with ADHD, inattentive type." And I'm like, whoa, I did not think I had it. I just thought I was the way I was because I was lazy, I was stupid, I was, couldn't focus. I gave myself all of these excuses for not having a reason for it. And then it turns out that this guy's like, "Yeah, no, you've had it throughout your whole life. You've had it. Like, you exude these symptoms A, B, and C, and D. And there are criteria that he gives you or she gives you. And it's incredible when you actually go through it and you read the criteria of how you fit and then you start researching. So, for example, let's go over some of the symptoms in case you have some, right? Well, inattentive ADHD is a type of ADHD that makes it hard for people to focus and organise. People with inattentive ADHD often have trouble paying attention, following instructions, and finishing tasks. Forgetting things like appointments all the time. If you have reminders for everything, this is something, right? You're not just losing your memory, okay? Because this is what I thought. I have an Amazon Alexa key. If you don't want to set her off, but you want to say the name, say Amazon Alexa, and it won't set her off. So I have one of those to put reminders on everything. I also have a calendar that you can see there on my fridge. The reason the calendar is there is because I write absolutely everything down, so that the minute I wake up in the morning, I come and make a cup of tea, I know what is happening that day, that week, that month, because otherwise I'll forget it. Forgetting things like where your keys have been put, or little things and bits and pieces, and just putting things in places that your mind's not even thinking about, just complete chaos basically. Being easily distracted, making careless mistakes, having difficulty concentrating. Massive one here is starting tasks but not finishing them. I got my garden half dug up because I had a vision about how I wanted to make a flower border. I got halfway through and I went, can't be bothered with this, and it's stayed there for the last 8 months now. Again, didn't think there was anything wrong with that, I just thought I was lazy. Having a short attention span, being unable to stick to tasks that are boring or time consuming. Yeah, these are very, very big symptoms, and these are things that I've experienced throughout my life, and probably people that are listening to me as well have, and you've just shrugged them off. Like, I literally have shrugged this off completely. I just thought I was an idiot. I just thought I couldn't remember things. I just thought I lost interest easy. I just thought that's the way I was. But it turns out, no, there's actually a reason for this. And inattentive ADHD can affect both children and adults, but it's often missed and can go untreated for years. So this is why I wanted to bring this video up, because yeah, it's a very different video from probably what you're used to, but I don't care. I don't care. If I can help somebody get diagnosed with something that they've had throughout all their life and they know that something's not right, like, I knew that the way I did things wasn't right, but I didn't think there was a genuine reason for it. So please listen to me when I say that if you are experiencing things like this, if you haven't been able, like, occupations, right? Jobs, that's a big one for me. I was never able, I'm still not able to hold down a job longer than like a year. You know, one of my longest jobs was like 2 years, and that's because I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed some of the co-workers, not everyone, but most of the co-workers. But I was never able to hold down a job. I would talk back to the managers. I would have arguments with the colleagues. Like, I was not a great worker in that environment. And I know there are things that attributed to that that made it worse. And if I'd have just known, hey, Katie, like, stop what you're doing. This is like, stop. And it's knowing that you're doing those things and being able to cope with it, right? So finding coping mechanisms throughout your life is what you're human. This is what you do. You know, it's nature to just find these ways to protect ourselves at the end of the day. You know, when we fall down, what's the first thing we do? Put our arms down, right? When there's dust coming through, what's the first thing we do? Close our eyes. We protect ourselves, right? This is human life. This is what we do. So we have found ways to protect ourselves throughout life and been like, no, we don't have it, we don't have it, we don't have it. When actually, when you find out that there is a genuine reason as to why, like, I'm not even joking, everything that they list on this, like, you type in inattentive ADHD into Google, everything it lists, it's me. It's me. Motivation, you know, lose motivation and things like that. Like, yes, that is me, and I just didn't think about it. And I guarantee there's people out there that are exactly like me. And I just want to help you guys understand that there is help out there if you do want it. There is ways in which you can do it. Don't be afraid. Start that journey. Like, yeah, it's weird finding out that you have this, but I'm glad I got a friend. I'm glad I got a friend next to me that, like, you know, not right now, but I'm glad I got friends next to me who also have this and are able to help me through life. And now that I know I've got it, like, literally feel free to come onto this video, write me a message, write me a comment. I will be that friend for you, because if you don't have anyone around you that has this or has the same tendencies as you, and, you know, you can't relate to anyone, I will be that person. All right, I will be that person. All I want to do is just help people find out if what their craziness is going on in their head, if there's a genuine thing for it. So, I know it's a random video, but I hope whoever sees this needs to see this, okay? So if you got to the end of this video, remember, I'm going to put links down below to where you can find UK psychiatry. I'm sorry if you're not in the UK, obviously. I don't know your way, but that's not to say that this isn't a calling for you to do this wherever you are, okay? I'm still going to be that over the seas friend for you, okay? So please, if you think that you have some sort of ADHD and you have symptoms that are like this, please go and get yourself tested, because when you find out, it's like a weight, mate. It's like, that's why. Okay, cool. Now we can work on it, right? So, yeah. Good luck, everyone who needs it.